Just having a high school diploma and dropping out of middle school might seem a bit questionable, huh? But there's a story behind it. No need to delve into details. Our paths just took different turns. Alright, no need to phrase it so bluntly. I'm 33 now, happily married to David for a decade. Our little Betty, a first grader, completes our trio. Art has been my passion since childhood, and now it's my profession. And with another baby on the way, each day presents new challenges as my belly expands. Despite his packed schedule, David makes an effort to be home early. He goes above and beyond, even taking time off work to handle chores and childcare for me. Life has been smooth sailing for our little family until recently. We reside on the first floor of a towering apartment complex. It was just the other day, returning from a shopping trip, that I noticed a familiar face. It was Emma, a classmate from our middle school days. Our paths hadn't crossed since those days, apart from a brief reunion right after middle school. As she spotted me, Emma exclaimed, "Mary, you live here too." "Yeah, what about you?" I replied. "Moving in today," she confirmed. It seemed Emma had just settled into the building. Her expression soured as she realized we were now neighbors. Can't believe I ended up in the same high-rise as a fellow dropout. It's surreal, really. You see, I didn't pursue further education after middle school for my own reasons, but I never shared that with Emma. The last time we spoke, she ridiculed me for my decision, and it seems nothing has changed. She's still looking down on me. Irritated, I listened as Emma went on. "So what floor are you on?" "First floor," I replied. Emma's face lit up with a smug grin. "First floor? Figures, considering you're a dropout. You'll have to come up to my place on the 35th floor sometime. Spectacular views, you know," she boasted. Emma revealed that she had been employed at a prominent corporation after college until the previous year. Now she aimed to launch her own venture, utilizing her high-rise apartment as both residence and office. "So essentially, I'll be the CEO. And you? Do you have a job?" Emma inquired, prompting me to explain my occupation. "Yeah, I work in the art industry," I began. Emma cut in, "Art? Like drawing? Is that even a job?" Feeling slighted, I retorted, "I've transformed my passion into a profession, and it's very much a legitimate career." Disregarding my response, Emma remarked, "Well, it must be convenient relying on household income. What's your target, like $900 a month?" I remained silent, lacking the energy to respond. It felt as though those of us who had dropped out lived in a completely different world compared to the elites like Emma. Just then, David and her daughter Betty, both dressed for work, approached. "Mom." "Oh, Mary, do you two know each other?" David asked, glancing between us. Emma glanced at David before hastily departing. "Is this your husband?" David asked me. Feeling insulted, I finally spoke up. "Why are you laughing? That's disrespectful." Emma remained unapologetic. "I wasn't laughing. He just fits the stereotype I'd expect from a dropout like you. A two-income family on the first floor. He probably doesn't earn much either." Emma's rudeness reached its limit for me. "How dare you speak about my husband that way? Apologize?" Emma laughed. "Apologize? Why should I? By the way, are you pregnant?" Finally noticing my pregnancy, Emma commented, "Yes, I see you're 7 months along. Must be the financial strain with another child on the way. Can you even afford to live here?" Fed up with Emma's snide remarks, I took hold of David and Betty and made my way home. Emma called out after us, "Feel free to visit the 35th floor for a better view anytime." But I brushed off her comment and entered our apartment. Throughout the day, I couldn't shake off my anger towards Emma. Why did she feel the need to say such hurtful things? That night, after Betty had fallen asleep, David asked me what had happened. I recounted the encounter with Emma, how she had mocked me for being a dropout and demeaned my work. David's face flushed with anger, his frustration seemingly surpassing my own. He was well aware of my past, including my decision to drop out of school, and had chosen to marry me with full acceptance of who I am. We mutually agreed to keep our distance from Emma, as our animosity towards her showed no signs of fading. Fortunately, we managed to avoid any encounters with her for a while. However, our respite was short-lived. In the span of a single day, we received a postcard inviting us to a school reunion. Despite my close ties with my middle school friends, I couldn't help but feel apprehensive about the possibility of encountering Emma and enduring her unwelcome remarks amidst the anticipated reunion with old friends. Despite my concerns about encountering Emma, I decided to attend the reunion, recognizing that opportunities to meet with friends might be limited after the arrival of our baby. When the day of the reunion arrived, it was held in a rented hotel ballroom. Upon my arrival, I was warmly greeted by friends I hadn't seen in years, and we quickly fell into engaging conversation. It had been far too long since our last reunion, and there was much to catch up on. Our bond as a group remained strong over the years, transcending gender. Some of us had become parents, while others pursued various career paths, yet we all cherished the chance to share updates about our families and professional lives. However, our reunion was interrupted when we suddenly heard Emma's voice from behind us. Emma's arrival was no surprise, and her presence immediately grated on us. Engrossed in conversation with close friends, we hadn't noticed her approach until she uttered, "Breathing the same air as poor people is making me sick." Emma's ostentatious attire and exaggerated demeanor stood out against the backdrop of the reunion. Her heavy makeup and flashy dress seemed out of place, reinforcing the consistent bad attitude she exuded. Even in middle school, Emma had been known for her self-centeredness and tactless remarks, traits that made her someone we generally avoided. And true to form, nothing had changed. At 33, she remained as obnoxious as ever, prompting us to exchange eye rolls. Breaking the uncomfortable silence, one friend addressed Emma. "Who are you referring to as poor, Emma?" Without hesitation, Emma pointed at me, saying, "Who else but Mary? She's a dropout, so she's poor and lives on the first floor. I live on the 35th. Emma's remark comparing our situation to a master-servant dynamic was met with laughter. Some of our friends were visibly offended and confronted her, but Emma remained unapologetic. "If you're offended by being called poor, why not find an older, cheaper apartment that suits your budget?" She continued, oblivious to the discomfort she was causing. Emma persisted in belittling me, suggesting that I should leave behind my modest income and the upscale apartment building we resided in. Confused by Emma's comments, my friends turned to me and asked, "Mary, do you really only earn $900 a month?" I clarified, "No, that's just Emma's assumption." As we conversed, Emma interjected, "What are you two whispering about? Mary relies comfortably on her husband's income, working part-time due to her dropout status, while I am a CEO." At this point, a male classmate was on the verge of speaking up. "Emma, did you know that Mary is a well-known artist?" One of my friends interjected. Emma appeared puzzled and replied, "An artist? So what?" Deciding to clear the air and not allow Emma's arrogance to sour the reunion any further, I spoke up. "Actually, I studied art in France right after middle school. Although I didn't complete a formal program, you could say I dropped out." Emma scoffed dismissively. "Studying art, just a hobby, right? You're still a dropout who ran away from studying." Realizing that Emma failed to grasp the depth of my commitment, I elaborated further. "I spent several years honing my skills, and now I manage an art gallery while also creating my own works. Believe it or not, I have fans and have even curated my own exhibitions. Some of our classmates have even purchased my artwork. In reality, I was a budding artist with a growing reputation within certain circles. After completing my training in France, I returned to New York and kickstarted my career, which has flourished in recent years. David and I crossed paths at one of my exhibitions, and we instantly connected, leading to our marriage. Despite explaining all this to Emma, she still seemed oblivious. "Oh, come on, an exhibition is just for fun, right?" As a CEO, I'm clearly ahead of the game. Frustrated, I responded, "Emma, this isn't about winning or losing. You may think my pursuit of art is frivolous, but I take my work seriously." Refusing to back down, Emma retorted, "If you're really making that much money, why are you living on the first floor? You should be up higher." "There's a reason for our choice," I countered. "We used to live on a different floor, but with my pregnancy and the sometimes sluggish elevators, we opted for convenience by moving to the first floor." Despite my explanation, Emma appeared unconvinced. My friends were well aware of my career, and even acquaintances had heard of my success as an artist. Emma, however, likely never considered this possibility, given her lack of interest in art and her tendency to look down on me for dropping out. And I had another secret to share. Just as I was about to reveal it, I spotted David and Betty entering the room. "Mom," Betty comes bounding towards me, with David in hot pursuit. "Sorry about that," David apologizes, rubbing his head. "Got caught up in some work stuff and had to bring Betty along." As David and I converse, Emma interrupts. Wait, who's this dashing man? Your husband. He was in work attire last time. Why the change to a suit? David does indeed look sharp today, catching Emma's attention. He begins to greet my friends, expressing gratitude. Thank you for always being so kind to my wife. She means the world to me. Is everything to your liking? Please don't hesitate to let us know if there's anything you need. Just as we were immersed in the conversation, the event organizer hurried over, expressing gratitude. Thank you for providing this wonderful venue free of charge. The food and drinks are exceptional. We truly appreciate it. The truth was, this hotel belonged to David's parents, and he had recently taken over as CEO. David had generously offered the venue for the reunion without any cost. Emma's expression shifted to a pale hue as she processed this information. Wait, you're the wife of a CEO? She had previously looked down on me as someone of lesser means, but here I was, an accomplished artist and the spouse of a CEO. Emma seemed visibly stunned. How did a dropout like you end up married to someone so affluent when someone like me, from an elite background, is still single? What did you do to achieve this? Emma's tone was laced with bitterness as she challenged me. Finally noticing Emma, David intervened. We've met before. I apologize for appearing in work clothes last time. I was assisting with a neighborhood cleanup, David explains. As the owner of the high-rise apartment, it's crucial to foster positive relationships within the community. Emma's complexion pales. Wait, you own that high-rise? She gasps. Your family owns it? In truth, David is the owner of the high-rise. His family boasts a long-standing wealth, spanning generations, with interests in hotel management and ownership of various properties. Our residence is situated within one of those properties, the very high-rise in question. Emma stood there, utterly stunned, unable to muster a response. David chimed in. Oh, and just so you know, we'd love to have you over to the penthouse sometime. The view is spectacular. You can even see the Empire State Building. Emma's shock deepened. The penthouse? But I thought you guys lived on the first floor. Hearing this, I decided to reveal the truth. As I mentioned earlier, I'm pregnant, so we've made the first floor our home too. Essentially, both the penthouse and the first floor belong to us. Emma was left speechless, her disbelief palpable. As I glanced around, I noticed our friends had fallen silent, attentively observing our conversation. Feeling like I had disrupted the reunion's vibe, I began making my way towards the exit, accompanied by David and Betty. Just as I was leaving, I overheard Emma muttering, "A dropout acting so arrogantly." I glanced at my daughter, knowing she probably caught wind of Emma's remark. What truly counts is what's on the inside. Never underestimate others, I reminded Betty. With a nod, Betty turned towards Emma and chirped, "Emma, if you keep making those faces, happiness might just slip away from you." The room erupted in laughter, instantly lightening the mood. However, Emma, now the butt of the joke, hastily fled the venue, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. The reunion continued on a positive note, and I savored the remainder of the evening with my friends. Many of them had also experienced Emma's mistreatment in the past. So Betty's parting words brought a sense of relief to everyone. As months went by, we never crossed paths with Emma at the high-rise again. Then, one day, David returned home with news. Emma had finally vacated the luxury high-rise. Apparently, she had been evading rent payments for 3 months, as David explained. I even had to bring in a lawyer to serve her an eviction notice, David revealed. She disappeared almost overnight. I was stunned by this revelation. David went on to explain that Emma's rented space was left completely untouched, with furniture and clothes left behind. She had taken only her valuable possessions and computer, leaving everything else behind. Initially, I suspected something dubious, but soon after, a friend provided an update on Emma's situation. It turned out that Emma had been pretending to be a prosperous entrepreneur, but in truth, she was practically unemployed. With some savings from her corporate career, Emma managed to maintain a comfortable lifestyle for a time. However, it was inevitable that her funds would run dry. Unable to keep up with rent payments, she was forced to vacate her residence. Lacking alternative accommodations, she left behind her furniture and belongings simply because she couldn't afford to dispose of them. Upon learning the truth, I felt a profound sense of disgust at how Emma continued to burden others until the very end. Even in her time of need, Emma's abrasive personality has left her without any friends or colleagues willing to lend a hand. She resides alone in a modest apartment, relying on part-time work to get by. Gone are the days of her boasting about elitism and looking down on me for not completing college. I imagine her pride has taken quite a blow. My hope is that this experience teaches her the value of humility and sincerity as she moves forward. Meanwhile, I continue to relish in the simple joys of life, painting and cherishing moments with my daughter and husband. Our family of 3 shares a harmonious bond, and the anticipation of welcoming our 4th member, the baby on the way, fills me with joy. I am determined to do whatever it takes to safeguard the happiness of my loved ones.